Hey guys, it's Monty with XS Sights, and I'm back with another tech tip for today. Right here we've got a Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 slide, and the M&Ps have one thing that's a little different than a lot of others. Most of our striker-fired guns these days have a firing pin safety. You can see it right here on the Smith M&P. The M&Ps are a little different in that the male dovetail of this rear sight retains that plunger and spring in the slide. When you're going to change the sights, that can cause problems if you're not aware of it and you're not careful. So I'm just going to give you a quick tip on how I deal with it. Let's move over to the vise and get going. As always, I'm going to use a set of brass jaws or soft jaws. If I was using brass, I'd have a sheet of paper to protect the slide. Again, personally, I like the soft jaws a little better, but both work. We're going to back this screw off, whatever screw your sight may have. I'm going to take my hammer and my punch, and I'm going to very carefully start driving it. Now, remember, that spring and plunger are under the male dovetail on the extractor side of the slide. That's the side I'm going to start from. I'm aware of it. I can be paying attention to it. All right, and I'm just going to, you can start to see it peeking out right here under that Loctite. This is one of the newer ones with the polymer retainer plate. All right, so I'm going to just, again, continue to carefully tap on this side. If you notice, I've got my punch in such a way that it's also going to help prevent that from launching into the stratosphere. As my friend and coworker Bo Wallace would call it, that's what we call the Jesus part. Because if you're not careful, it winds up on the floor. You're there with a flashlight going, oh, Jesus, where did that thing go? Not quite. All right, I should be clear of the spring and plunger. I'm going to carefully pull that punch. At this point, the plunger can stay in place, but I want to get the spring and the retainer plate out so I don't lose them. I finished drifting off the sight I was going to replace. And at that point, I would go ahead, clean everything up using Q-tips and Loctite. When I go to install it, first thing I want to do is see how my sight fits, right? See, I don't really start very well from that side. It's a little tight from this side, and that's okay. I'm going to leave that spring and plunger out, that spring and that plate. Now that if you look, my male dovetail, the edge of my male dovetail is closing in on that hole. Right, I can still drive it a little bit more. All right, at this point, this one's acting a little more like a slip fit now that I kind of got it started. I should be able to drop that in, use something to depress it, and slide that in place. Close enough that I can go back to work with a hammer and a punch. I'd get that centered where I want. Go ahead and snug the set screw. Now, we're going to move back to the mat because before I apply the Loctite, I'm going to do a couple of more things. This is a show gun, so it doesn't have a firing pin. What I would do if I had a firing pin before I applied the Loctite, I would depress my plunger and push on my firing pin to verify that it protrudes from the breech face. And you would see it protruding from the firing pin hole in the breech face. As long as I wasn't having any issues and everything was moving freely, I would apply my Loctite. I like Loctite quite a bit. However, I know that plunger's there. I'd give myself one drop right here on the non-ejection port, non-extractor side of the slide, and I'd give myself a good drop right in here. Let it sit for about 10-15 minutes, then clean it off. Obviously, the Loctite needs to sit overnight to solidify. I'd let that happen. Before I assembled the gun, again, I would come back in and do that same check where I would depress my firing pin safety, and push on the firing pin to verify that it protrudes from the breech face. Anyway, just a quick tip to help you with that one unique little quirk of the Smith M&P family.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share the video with your friends. Also, be sure to be following us on Instagram and Facebook to be up to speed in all the new things that we're doing. If you guys want early access into some of those cool things that we're doing, make sure that you're signed up for our email newsletter. You guys get exclusive discounts, early promos, and like I said, insights to all the new things that we're doing. As an American-made, family-owned company, our mission is to empower the good guy to be more confident, self-reliant, and prepared through functional weapon upgrades. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.